I was definitely one of those kids from a very young age who was into video games, and I was into computers and math and all of that stuff, Dungeons and Dragons, Star Wars. I convinced my parents that I needed an Apple II so I could be smarter and get better at school and all of that, but I just wanted to make games, so I'd write my own games. And very much into the PC stuff. Wizardry was probably the first, role-playing game on the Apple II computer that I remember going, oh, this is how it should be. But Ultima, I think Ultima 3 was soon after that for me, and that became much more of a real world. There are people I can go talk to, I can explore this landscape. And I think that kind of, Origin is still one of probably my favorite gaming company that has been, in that they created these games where you felt like you went to another world. And every time they did in Ultima, particularly from Ultima 3 to 7, it was a significant, like, we're going to reboot it. We're going to reboot the interface. We're going to do this. And it's still a similar game. And they follow a trajectory. But you could bake bread, and you could do this, and you could talk to all these people. That was this is what I want to do. This is the kind of games that I'd ultimately like to make, when you're sitting there younger dreaming. And the fact that we get to do it now is pretty, it's actually, you still want to pinch yourself. Like, people, we're so lucky that so many people buy this stuff, so we get to grow and do it bigger and better each time. I did major in finance in college. The excuse for that was it seemed like the easiest path to get through college. I went to William & Mary, great school, which I did not take advantage of. I would get out of class and go to the computer lab and install Wing Commander. And I would hope somebody was not at the computer I had installed it at earlier in the day, because it takes a while to install. And this was eating into my Wing Commander time. So most of my schooling was still, how do I make games? How do I play games? And then I once again convinced my parents I needed a computer of my own, because using the lab was time-consuming, which it was if some dude is on the computer you installed Wing Commander on, typing his paper. And the computers just weren't good enough for playing Wing Commander, and didn't have the extra memory to see the hand on the screen. I did well in school, and I got through it, but my looking off was always, I want to make games. I was very much a self-taught programmer, even in college, writing my own stuff. And one of the first games that I got from Bethesda was Wayne Gretzky Hockey 3. And I got that game, I think it was my senior year in college. I looked at the address in the box and realized that the office for this company was on my way home it was over Christmas break. So I drove into the office and just knocked on the door and said, I want to make games, and I like your stuff, and you're on my way back to school, so you should hire me. This is an excellent reason. They said, no. Why don't you wait till you graduate school? When I graduated, I asked again, Bethesda, this is the place I want to work at. I love your stuff. I love this Terminator stuff. I hear you're going to start making a role-playing game. I said, we don't have anything right now. And I went and worked for a small company in Yorktown, Virginia, that made little games that got no notice. But I did get to go to these conventions. I got to go to CES and all this stuff and look at games. And when I would go to the Bethesda booth and remind them how great I thought they were and that they should hire me. And eventually they did. And so I started here in '94, pretty much right after I graduated from school. It wasn't long after, about a year, and have been here ever since. I have had a decent number of times when people will recognize me, or they're a fan, or they've played our games or seen me, and everybody is it's awesome whenever because I don't get it a lot, right? And when they do, it is really nice when someone says, hey, you're so-and-so, right? Yeah, I really enjoyed your game. Would you sign this? I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, who gets that, right? A couple I remember, I was going through San Fran Airport, and the TSA guy goes, you're in the chess club. It was in this video he did for Oblivion. I was like, what? He's like, Todd Howard, you're in the chess club. And then he checked me out. It's kind of a weird moment. One of the questions we get asked a lot of letters and stuff is, how do I get a job there? How do I get into video games? This is something I'm playing and I love it, and particularly now, more so than when I was growing up, because everybody plays video games. And fortunately, there are a lot of good colleges now that have courses in video game design, art. So you sort of have to decide what discipline you want to get into, whether that's programming, design, writing, those kind of things, level design, or art. And there are different schools for a lot of those things. Even if you go to one of those schools, the people that we tend to hire have done a ton on their own. That'll only take you so far. There are a lot of tools out there, including ours, where, go ahead. Most of our level designers here had to make a plugin that we played, even if they had some experience. Go ahead and make something that we could ship. Our tools are out. Make something that could have come out with Oblivion or Fallout. And it's a very easy way for us to see this person has it. On the art side, they'll have their school portfolios, and you can tell what those are going to look like, but then they have this thing they made on their own that is, wow. That's gonna get you through. Same with programming. So there are a lot of good schools now, but ultimately you're going to have to do a lot on your own, show you have a passion for it, and can go beyond that.